Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Yankees Avenue live stream, a rare separate live stream from the watch parties because we have breaking news as of about 20 or so minutes ago. The Yankees are finalizing a trade with the Miami Marlins for Jazz Chisholm. Seal's finally broken, yo. The trade deadline has begun for the Yankees. Brian Cashman has finally awoken, and first thing I'll say about this trade, which, if you can't tell, just the fact that we're getting going here and the deadline has officially, kind of kicked off the Yankees, I am hyped. I am 1,000% excited for this to be happening. Can't be the move, though. This cannot be all the Yankees end up doing. This can't be their big piece, not by any means. So as excited as I am, and we'll break this down in a little bit, this means nothing depending on what follows it. The Yankees end up getting Isaac Paredes after this trade with Jazz Chisholm. Bro, I am on board, as well as upgrading the bullpen as well. But for now, this is a good start. We'll see where they end up batting him in the lineup. I'm not so sure they're going to look at him as their leadoff hitter or where they're going to play him positionally because, of course, he played a lot of center field this year with the Marlins, and just recently they started playing him at second base. The Yankees outfield is pretty crowded. Also, the defensive metrics in center are not great for Jazz, whereas at second for his career, he's actually a plus defender. But, of course, you have Gleyber Torres at second base. Jazz has never played third. Gleyber has never played third. I'm not exactly sure what this means for the current roster, but what it could entail is, and I would like to think this is the case, there's a lot more to come, potentially revolving around the future with Gleyber Torres as well. But anyways, Jazz is having a nice year. I mean, the stats aren't great, especially you see a 104 WRC plus, and you're like, okay, above league average, that's nice. But the actual slash line, of course, offense is down as a whole, so the slash line still isn't all that impressive. 249 average, 323 on base, 407 slugging. But bats from the left side, does have 13 homers, 50 ribbies, and also over stolen bases, and over 20 stolen bases. And what's really interesting, is that he has 2 more years of control after this one. So, I mean, again, they could play him in the outfield. I don't see how that happens, especially with Jason coming back, possibly returning to the big leagues as soon as within 2 weeks. There's no room in the outfield for Jazz. And again, he's not a good defensive center fielder. Every metric hates him. So I'm pretty much looking at him as, for sure, an infielder, most likely second base. So with that being the case, we pretty much just acquired what I assume is going to be our second baseman for the next, 2 years after this one? I mean, going forward, they could maybe find some time for him in the outfield. But as for this roster right now, the only way I see it is he plays second base. So what ends up happening with Gleyber Torres? Well, we will have to see because there should be a lot more going down over the next coming days. Of course, the deadline is Tuesday, 6 p.m., and I've been saying it for days after brutal losses and all this and that Cashman has to make a move. And finally, after last night's, weekly worst loss of the season candidate, he comes through with the start. Again, I want to emphasize that as excited as I am to get things going here, acquiring Jazz Chisholm, this is a nice move. This can be a part of a really solid trade deadline. It means nothing if you don't do jack shit afterwards. And I'm not just saying you can get a reliever or two and there you go. You need to add another bat. It means nothing, this deal, if you don't continue to upgrade this offense with at least one more hitter. And I really, really, really want to get one of the guys from the Rays. I mean, whether it is Paredes, who I love, or even someone mentioned Brandon Lau, or Lowe, whatever it is. Not against that. Yandy Diaz, all four. I mean, if you get one of those three from the Rays, and don't give me the Rays won't trade to the Yankees thing. That has been debunked by multiple reports now. Very much so a realistic trade partner for the Yankees. They're scouting each other's systems. They've already engaged in conversations. Nothing is really of substance that's come about it just yet. But that is a strong possibility that they could end up making a deal with the Rays. So if something like that does end up happening, or some other trade candidates we've talked about a lot, the obvious ones, Luis Rengifo, not so sure that happens now, but I have really started to take a liking to Jonathan India. I mean, he's not great defensively either, but he's an OBP in the 370s. He would be a great add. But the Jazz deal is interesting because where are they going to play him? I assume it has to be in the infield. And where are they going to bat him? Because he's, despite kind of on the surface level, you see quick, speedy, left-handed bat that, you watch his game, you think he'd be a perfect leadoff hitter, just, going with the eye test. But obviously you look at the numbers, career OBP of 309. And it's you can't really look at him as the answer at leadoff. Although, given the current state of the lineup, maybe in the meantime he does bat leadoff, which, by the way, we did get for tonight's game, the lineup just came out. And also report from John Heyman, Jazz's position with the Yankees is to be determined. Could be a combination of infield and outfield. Maybe he gets some time out there until Jason returns. But anyways, lineup for tonight. Verdugo back in the leadoff spot. You're looking at Verdugo, Soto, Judge, Wells, Torres, Rice, Volpe, Grisham, Cabrera. I believe that is the exact same lineup as yesterday. Which, for what the roster is right now, I loved yesterday's lineup. And they performed quite well. I think that's identical to yesterday, tonight's lineup. And that game is on Fox. We'll have Stroman on the bump for us. Cutter Crawford going for Boston. We got a Fox broadcast tonight, 7 o'clock. And then Sunday Night Baseball, ESPN tomorrow. But yeah, if you're just joining, the Yankees have acquired Jazz Chisholm. So their trade deadline is underway. Also, we didn't even mention this, I apologize. They're sending back 3 prospects in return to the Marlins. And the one we know of right now is Agustin Ramirez, who at least entering this year wasn't a top 10 prospect in the system. But he's having a pretty solid year in the minors. I think let me just pull this up. He's a catcher, 862 OPS in the minors with 20 homers. So he can hit a little bit, but I mean, I'm not really losing any sleep over it, especially with Austin Wells is really something to get excited about individually. Obviously, as a whole, team-wide, there's not much going on with the Yankees to, be joyous about. But Austin Wells is up to a 118 WRC plus now. I believe he's 4th among All-American League catchers in WAR. Go compare his stats to Adley Rutschman's. It's interesting. Yankees acquired Jazz Chisholm. Love the move, but before we wrap up here, just want to emphasize this point. This only is huge if it leads to more. This has to just be the start of a 4 or 5 player trade deadline for the Yankees. We've been saying it all week on here for those who have been around, all the regulars on here, which, by the way, we do watch parties just about every single night, which is ironic that I'm saying that. I put the community post out earlier, guys. We're not going to have a watch party tonight, but we'll be back tomorrow. But anyways, we've been saying it. Biggest trade deadline of Brian Cashman's career. Not even close. And any spot you hear from an insider or just, people within the baseball world all agree, the GM with the most pressure on themselves, this deadline is Brian Cashman. And it's not even close. Now, does that mean his job is on the line? You would like to think so, but we'll see. Anyways, Tuesday is when I will give my full take on Brian Cashman and just, because I'm not going to give him shit right now. For all I know, he's about to pull off a badass deadline. And this is a nice start. Keyword, start. Let me pull the chat here and see how you guys are feeling. Again, no watch party tonight, but we will hang out here for a few more minutes. I just got a hella stuff to edit tonight, so just not going to be able to do one. But let's see. Anthony's throwing in a lineup prediction. Says, so you do have Jazz lead off, which I think until we get another deal, that's probably what's going to happen. But I just don't know if I don't love that. But he goes Jazz, Soto, Judge, Stanton, Dominguez, Wells, Volpe, Rice, India. Oh, you have India batting 9th? Oh, no. Now, if we were to get India in addition to Jazz, that would be awesome. But you 100% bet India leadoff, Anthony, because India has the OBP in the 370s. And then, dude, if you had Jazz as your 9-hitter, that would be awesome. But, dude, no, I like that. I like that lineup a lot. Raymond Diaz says, are we still on Scott? What up, Dan Hayer? Yeah, how's it going, bro? So that's something I was initially very curious about was, are we going to get a package deal for Tanner Scott, which we had a report from John Heyman earlier that the Yankees are having talked to the Marlins about him. It doesn't appear as of right now that there's anything else in this deal besides Jazz. Although we don't have all the details just yet. We're still waiting on the other 2 prospects, I think. All we know is Agustin Ramirez, which it sounds like he's the headliner. That's not a huge loss. I mean, it's a nice piece for Miami, but it's not a huge loss. And again, for 2 more years of control on Jazz, which he's not the perfect player, man. And I'll tell you, I am actually really in a much different spot about Jazz right now and being this excited about acquiring him than I would have been maybe a year or so ago because of my total 180 I've done on Stroman and like guys like Alex Verdugo, at least when Verdugo was hitting. But I used to hate those two, wasn't big fans of them. And not that I hate Jazz, but he's never really rubbed me the right way. And he also, there's so many stories about him that you just read. And there was reports with the Yankees. They had questions like, would he fit in their clubhouse? But, dude, I know the second he does something good in pinstripes, bro, I'm going to love him, and I'll embrace him, no problem. And on the flip side, if he doesn't perform, it'll be same way any trade acquisition goes. Just matters how they freaking perform. So we'll see how he does. But I'm excited. Again, it's a good start. Hopefully more to come tonight, tomorrow, and through Tuesday. Deadline is at 6 p.m. Alrighty, yo. I think that's going to do it for this quick little live stream. Thank you guys for being in here. We will be live the second shit goes down. So if there's another deal tonight, even though I'm not doing a watch party tonight for the Red Sox game too, We'll be live if a deal goes down. So hopefully I'll see you soon. Hopefully I will see you soon. Once again, the Yankees have acquired Jazz Chisholm in a trade with Miami Marlins for 3 prospects. See you guys again, hopefully really soon for another deal. But hey, let's go Yankees. Good start. Good start. Let's go Cashman.